Hey parents, welcome back to Level 4's Parent Resource. Quickly, we're going to go through the strategies that your child is going to need for Level 4. Please keep in mind that this is a culmination of everything that we've kind of done since the beginning of the year. Some of these strategies will drop off as the child won't need them to support their reading, but for other kiddos, they will stay put. So it kind of depends on your child and the strength of their reading, whether some of these come and go. Pointer Pup is one of those. So again, I would encourage all children, even at a level 4, to still continue to use their finger to point. It is good for tracking, especially when we get into these upper levels where there are multiple sentences and there's a wraparound text, and they kind of have to make sure that they're going in the same, finding their place. But again, your child may have the strength to not use their pointer finger and just use their eyes, and that's okay too, as long as they're able to track well and they are matching what they say to what they see. If they are not, then I would highly encourage you to remind them to use their pointer until they can do so. The eagle eye, again, will still be in effect. Even as we get into these higher levels, pictures are still very important, and we continue to do picture walks before we read so that we have an idea of what we might see on the page. So continue to remind your child to look at those pictures, to do a quick picture walk before they read, and to always go back and make sure that what they're saying matches what they're seeing on the page. So we're going to use the next several strategies very quickly together now. It's almost like they're not separated anymore by the time we get to a level 4. So lips of fish is, again, remember, we're going to look at that beginning letter. We call it the line leader. But right after that, we're going to go right into stretching through it. So we're not just going to make guesses now. We actually have to move to that stretchy snake strategy, where we are looking at all those letters in that word or in that line, if we want to think of it that way, and we are saying the sounds that they make. At the same time as we're saying the sounds that they make, we're recognizing for chunks, things that we recognize, smaller words inside of bigger words, or maybe even the chunk might be a diagraph like TH that works together, or a vowel team that we've talked about. We're also going to simultaneously, while we're stretching, flipping those sounds. So if something doesn't sound right, the word that we're saying doesn't make sense, then we're going to look for a letter that we can flip. What's something that can make another sound, and let's try it out. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and introduce that try and lion, because level 4s are very difficult, and you're going to see that here in just a second when I share one with you. They are not easy. Again, that predictability is almost thrown out the window now, because we're really wanting them to pay attention to text. They should be at this point paying attention to what they see is what they say, and they're really stopping to have to look through words. So we want them to continue to try. If the sentence doesn't make sense, we don't want them to continue to go. In fact, if we do that, we're setting them up for failure as they move to 1st and 2nd grade, and they're developing those comprehension skills. So we really want them to recognize, whoa, that made no sense, that's silly, let's try it again. And again, like I said in level 3, if you're willing to let your child's reading sound a little messy, then you're going to have them build up those those reading muscles, and they are going to be able then to move up to those higher levels with little effort on their part if they're able to do it now in these lower levels. So don't let them give up. Continue to go back. And then finally, they do need to recognize that maybe, okay, they've tried everything in their tool belt. They just still can't figure out what this word is. It is okay to ask for help. But I really want to urge you and caution you that you don't give that help out before they try those strategies. When you do that, and it's like I said in level 3, this is where our gray hair pops out because it is messy. But if you give them the help before they've tried anything, what do you think they're going to do as they continue to read? They're going to continue to ask for help because they know that you're going to give it to them. And therefore, they're not trying any of those strategies. So please be very careful as you're going through at home, and really limit how much you help until the very end. And say, you know what, really great job. I saw you trying all of those different ways and it still just didn't make sense, did it? That word is, and then share that with them. But I caution you on how often you do that. So remember, you have that reading strategy poster inside your child's homework binder for a reference. Let's go quickly now to the text and what I'd like to show for you. I think it's this one. Nope, not not that one. Hold on just one second. Thought I had it up. Oh, here it is. Okay, so sorry. All right, so this is a level D. Remember, D correlates to a level 4. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4. Again, you're going to see in a level D that we have the predictability is no longer with us, and we really are going to have to recognize sight words, read through words, stretch them out, and apply those strategies. This is a sea turtle. This sea turtle went out of water. Sea turtles can swim. The sea turtle went under the water. Now, sometimes you will see in a level D a little bit of predictability, like a few, but you're not going to see it like you saw in levels 1, 2, and 3. Because as your child moves from kindergarten to first grade, that predictability really does go out the window, and they really just have varying sentences about a story, and then so it's not going to follow that pattern. These are hippopotamuses. These hippopotamus went into the water. Hippopotamuses do not swim, but they are underwater. This is an otter. This otter went into the water. Otters can swim. So we can see these phrases like into the water, under the water, that are repeating. So that's going to give your child a little bit of scaffolding or help in this level. But again, you're not going to see the predictability as much. Okay, and so then you got the very end, again, kind of like in levels 2, 3. 4 is going to be the same thing. They've thrown it off again. These children can swim. These children can swim under the water. So this is the end of kindergarten expectation. Your child will be able to read a text that looks very similar to this. However, I want to encourage you that we don't stop here. So as your child masters these different levels, we will continue to go above into first grade levels and take them all the way to the end of the year, wherever they land, and then that will be shared with their next year's teachers. So I want you to know that just because I'm saying this is the end doesn't mean we stop here. Because as your child is building these skills, we want them to continue to see texts that are a little bit more difficult so that they can continue to practice. When text becomes too easy, a child reads an easy book, they're not really applying the strategies as much anymore because they're recognizing things right away. But when we give them words that they don't know or things that they have to think about, it's having them use those strategies, which is, again, building those muscles and reading. All right, so this is a level 4. You know what you're going to kind of encourage your child to do as you're reading. And then you can come back here at the parent resource page tab, and you can find some other levels where I've done some short videos so you can see as your child progresses even above a level 4.